Good morning, THS. Today is Friday, May 6, 2016. Please enjoy these two videos from the DM3 classes.
When we were forming state and national strategy, we came to realize that the death penalty was a very visceral issue, meaning it comes from the heart, from the gut. It strikes at people's emotional center. And we recognize that people have empathy for victims of crime naturally, and so we had to understand that in order to work to create a situation where we could overcome that natural empathy for the people who had such a very strong voice. We did not want to take their voice away. What we want to do is add our voice to it. So over a long period of time, and Connecticut actually led the way in this movement nationally, and now we are a national model for this empathetic strategy. We decided that we were not going to win abolition of the death penalty through the numbers, through the facts. We had to win it through a visceral means. So we set out on a campaign to find as many victims, families of murders as possible in the state and now nationally. And in certain cases, we got some very high-profile people. So for instance, there's a man named Bud Welch. Bud Welch lost his daughter in the Oklahoma City bombings back in the 1990s. And on the day of the execution of Timothy McVeigh, the mastermind behind that, Bud Welch went to spend the day with Timothy McVeigh's father, because as Bud says, on that day, we created the 169th victim to the Oklahoma City bombings, 168 on the day of the bombing, and then Timothy McVeigh's father on that day. We stand that by having a death penalty actually perpetuates suffering of victims' families, because in many cases, and there are cases right here in this state, where people who have murdered have been caught at the murder scene, they could plead guilty and go to prison for life, and that's the end of the story. Instead, the state pursues a death penalty, and if we still had the death penalty, we're talking weeks, months, years, and decades later, they're still reading about it in the newspaper, they're still going to court, they're still finding stories to print. So if we really want to be empathetic to a person suffering, we believe in the anti-death penalty movement that the best way to do that is to remove one of the biggest impediments to healing, which is the death penalty itself. There was a poll taken by Quinnipiac, and Quinnipiac is a very fine institution for polling. And I remember the numbers. Do you support the death penalty? It was 67%, give or take a number or two, but it was in that ballpark. Yes, I support it. Should this person be executed, and the state hated that person so much, the number shot up near 80%. So how is it that more people could want that person dead than actually support the death penalty? Because it's a visceral issue. It is one of those things. I do not like what he did so much that I'm willing to go beyond my disagreement with the death penalty and actually, well, in this case, we'll let it happen. Well, I'm actually against the death penalty, but, and we worked a whole year on attacking all those issues and knocking them down one at a time, because it is a visceral issue, and it was very effective. In January of 1977, Utah executed somebody, and it was a man by the name of Gary Gilmore. He had committed the act of murder, and he was shot to death. And then I learned that when he was shot to death, there were 5 marksmen who were shooting at him, but 4 of them had bullets, 1 of them did not. But then when I found out one of the guns didn't have a bullet, I wondered why, and then I came to find out it's so all 5 of them would not know if they had the gun without the bullet. So in theory, they didn't kill anybody. And right then and there, I thought to myself, if there's nothing wrong with this, why do they do that?
So you have the option to approve, disapprove, or yawn at.
Puppies.
Homework. Sour Patch Kids. Water. Open mouth chewers. Glue. Batman. NAFTA. Quantum string theory. Nail polish. Mayonnaise. French fries dipped in milkshakes. Hoverboards. Taco Bell's new quesalupa. Morning announcements. Lou Farley. Modern psychology. Q-tips. Capitalism. Lists.
Have a good weekend, THS.